First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
We're following two developing stories, one with national implications and the other closer to home. This is WUFT's First at 5. I'm Juan Chaoui.
And I'm Charlize Ramos. The first story involves President Trump's federal freeze plan. It's been a chaotic 24 hours since the controversial memo was released, and now it might not even be implemented. Let's get right over to Alexis Vivanco, live in the studio, with how the events around the federal spending freeze unfolded and where we stand right now.
JC and Charlize, concern hit organizations and groups all over after the Trump administration announced a federal funding freeze. The decision received an extensive amount of backlash, and without warning, just like the decision was made, the decision was rescinded. The announcement was part of a wide-ranging review of federal spending following a freeze on foreign aid earlier. The White House Office of Management and Budget released a 2-line memo repealing the order which halted funds for some federal grants and loans. Today, shortly after the announcement was made, educators and charities raised concerns. The White House later clarified which programs would not be affected, including Social Security, Medicare, food stamps, student loans, and scholarships.
He doesn't have any authority to do this. Do not be fooled by this guy. You were here before he was here, and you'll be here after he was here.
Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will not be impacted by this pause.
At least 22 states filed a lawsuit against the decision to implement a spending freeze on federal assistance. The order was set to begin by 5 p.m. today on Tuesday, but a federal judge paused the order until February 3rd. Once again, the sweeping freeze has been rescinded by the Trump administration. Live in the studio, Alexis Vivanco, WFT News.
Our second developing story is happening right now in Putnam County.
The Putnam County Sheriff's Office needs your help to find the parents connected to the overdose of their baby. And that's not all. The overdose led to the discovery of drugs and guns. Let's break it down for you. A report says last week, Bruce Harris carried an unconscious 1-year-old out to deputies who responded to a call at his Satsuma home about the unresponsive child. When paramedics arrived, the child had been revived. Harris and the mother, Tatashua Thomas, told investigators the child had eaten an unknown substance. The baby ended up at Gainesville Hospital. While they were at the hospital, detectives got a warrant to search the home, and they discovered several drugs, including meth and unknown pills. Investigators say they also discovered what they called an arsenal of bullets and guns. They say the baby would have been able to reach these drugs and guns. That's when the pair were charged with a number of crimes, including drug possession and child neglect. The sheriff's office also took a moment to recognize the deputy who was able to revive the baby. When the deputy Colt Wade arrived, the child did not have a pulse and was not breathing. They said he was able to regain a pulse before paramedics arrived. They gave the baby Narcan before heading to the hospital. If you have any information regarding the whereabouts of Thomas or Harris, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers.
Firefighters in Ocala are working to learn what caused a pair of early morning fires. The first call came in just before 3 a.m. at a mobile home on Southeast 1st Avenue. When crews arrived, they were able to keep the flames contained to the shed, and the family was able to escape. The second call came about 4 hours later at a home on Southwest 5th Street. Crews say they arrived to a large fire in the home. They had to secure a nearby propane tank and down power line while putting out the fires. No one was hurt in either fire.
Police in Ocala said they were forced to shoot and kill 3 aggressive dogs this morning. They responded to a home on Southeast 42nd Road just before 4 o'clock in the morning. While waiting for animal control to arrive, officers say the pit bulls lunged at the officers, leading them to kill the 3 dogs in self-defense. The department is urging pet owners with aggressive tendencies to make sure their animals are properly secured.
Early morning roads are fogging up this time of year. The National Weather Service announced a dense fog advisory for the Alachua and Marion County area this morning. UF meteorologist Maxham is telling us how the fog will develop over the next upcoming days.
Yep, Charlize, it looks like we're going to have a pretty good chance of seeing some pretty dense fog overnight tonight, just like last night. This is 1 o'clock, and as we move ahead in time, that area of dense fog expands and crosses the I-75 corridor. Visibility is around a mile or less around I-75 early in the morning. Watch out for that. Temperatures currently, they're into the 70s. That's the other story. The warm afternoons we'll be enjoying over the next couple days. Temperatures tonight going to cool through the 60s. Eventually, after midnight, upper 50s are likely. That's when that fog going to start to develop. And again, fog could be dense for the first couple of hours of the morning tomorrow. Warm days continue, even some 80-degree temperatures on the 7-day, but there are some showers headed our way before the weekend. We'll track those in a few minutes.
It was a heated and contentious time on Capitol Hill today as one of President Trump's most controversial cabinet picks sat down for his Senate hearing. For hours, Robert Kennedy Jr. sparred with senators trying to make his case for why he should be leading the Department of Health and Human Services. And as Vaughn Hilliard reports, members of his own family have joined growing calls opposing his confirmation.
From the beginning, demonstrators making themselves heard as Robert Kennedy Jr. tried to quell fears over his past opposition to some vaccines, including the COVID vaccines.
News reports have claimed that I'm anti-vaccine or anti-industry. I am neither. I am pro-safety.
Clashing with Democrats over previous statements.
I support the measles vaccine. I support the polio vaccine. I will do nothing as HHS secretary that makes it difficult or discourages people from taking it.
Look at the measles book you wrote saying parents have been misled into believing that measles is a deadly disease.
Did you say Lyme disease is a highly likely militarily engineered bioweapon?
I probably did say that.
When was it that you decided to sell out the values you've had your whole life in order to be given power by President Trump?
Kennedy, who ran for president as a Democrat and an independent, lashing out at his former party.
They used to be my friends. Now they're against me because anything that President Trump does, any decision he makes, has to be lampooned, derided, discredited, marginalized, vilified.
I truly appreciate what you're doing here.
Finding common ground with some on a push for healthier foods. And after being supportive of reproductive rights as recent as 2023, Kennedy assuring Republicans he's now opposed to abortion access in most cases.
And he wants to protect conscious exemptions and that he wants to end federal funding for abortions here or abroad. That's Title 10. I serve at the pleasure of the president. I'm going to implement his policies.
Thank you for that.
Now, Kennedy faces a second hearing Thursday, and Republicans control the Senate by 3 votes. And while Kennedy is one of the most controversial picks, no Republican senator, at least yet, has said that they will vote against him. In Washington, Vaughn Hilliard, NBC News.
Florida legislation is at odds after Governor Ron DeSantis announced he will veto an immigration bill that lawmakers passed last night. The majority Republican Florida legislator passed the plan that included increasing the severity of penalties for undocumented immigrants, ending in-state tuition for undocumented students, and creating the position of chief immigration officer. DeSantis says the bills passed by lawmakers is weak.
To have designed a bill like that, you don't have the approach. You don't believe in what we believe in terms of strong borders, big deportation program, rule of law, protecting families, protecting communities.
This new bill comes after DeSantis' immigration policy proposal was rejected by the Florida Senate in a special session on Monday morning.
This morning, Mayor Harvey Ward gave his annual State of the City address to Gainesville. He touched on several topics addressing the needs of the local community, but at the heart of it all was safety. Ward talked about how to keep children safe from gun violence and traffic safety.
And when we say improve safety, what we mean is save lives. How can better lighting save lives when people are out walking or cycling or driving at night? Our Vision Zero initiative is aimed at altogether eliminating traffic deaths and serious injuries by 2040.
The mayor also gave praise to UF Interim President Ken Fox for his civic-based mindset in supporting public transportation efforts for Gainesville residents through RTS. The bus system plans to expand their fleet with 19 solar-powered electric buses to meet Gainesville's clean energy initiatives.
Hundreds of new jobs are coming to the city of Alachua thanks to the new opening of a distribution center. This morning, leaders broke ground on new Ben E. Keith Center. A press release says more than 700,000 square foot facility will bring more than 400 jobs to the area over the next 5 years. Leaders say the new facility will span 148 acres to house one of Florida's largest and most technologically advanced distribution centers.
Coming up on WFT's First at 5, Levy County is cracking down on reckless drivers threatening students who ride the bus.
And after the break, I'll go over how lawmakers are working to get Florida students the support they need to succeed.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
State lawmakers will discuss a number of bills during the upcoming legislative session, including a program proposal that will give public school students in Florida free lunch and breakfast.
That's right, Charlize. I spoke to a local student and his father to find out how this bill could impact their lives. As a student in high school, Santiago Herrera says he looks forward to lunchtime every day. It's a time to rest, socialize, and eat.
I think it's very important. Like, I don't think I'll work without food.
He eats breakfast and dinner at home and brings a packed lunch to school every day, thanks to his mom. But to his dad, Jesus Herrera, the cost of feeding the family is high.
Mira, el gasto todos los días es alrededor de entre 30 a 40 dólares.
That's just to feed Santiago 3 meals a day. When it comes to just school days, $30 a day, 5 days a week, roughly 36 weeks in a school year, that's over $5,000 a year just on meals for his son.
También se está pagando el alquiler de esta vivienda y estoy pagando el carro para el trabajo, el paseo.
Senate Bill 74 might provide him some relief, though. The bill proposes free breakfast and lunch for all public school students in Florida. This would take the cost of feeding Santiago from over $5,000 to just under $2,000 every school year.
Me imagino que sería un buen impacto.
The author of the bill, State Senator Lori Berman, represents Palm Beach County, which already implements free breakfast and lunch for all students. She says she proposed the bill because of how successful the program has been for her area.
I've seen across the nation, other areas have implemented this program, and it's been very successful.
The funding for the bill would come from taxpayer dollars. She says it's worth it.
I can't think of a better way to spend our taxpayer dollars on feeding people. I mean, it is an imperative that we don't have people going hungry in our state. And I can't think of a better use of our taxpayer dollars than making sure that our children succeed in school.
If passed, the bill would go into effect July 1st of this year. Alachua County already has some schools in a program that provides free food for all their students. This bill would cover all the other schools, like Gainesville High School, that don't qualify.
The Levy County Sheriff's Office is reminding drivers to steer clear of stop school buses. Bus drivers are reporting that people are speeding past buses as children are getting on and off the bus. Deputies want to remind you all that buses have cameras installed to catch these vehicles in the act. Deputies will follow up with penalties and citations. Penalties include 4 points on your license, a court-mandated driver improvement course, and up to $1,000 in fines if a driver passes on the side where kids get on and off the school bus.
Alachua County Public Schools wants to remind parents that magnet program applications are now open for Alachua County students. All pre-K, homeschooled, and out-of-district students need to create a new account on the public schools website to apply. The deadline to apply is February 11th. And if you're planning on getting married in Marion County, the clerk of court in Marion County is making it a little easier to get a marriage license or apply for a passport. Next month, they will host marriage license and passport days. From February 18th to the 20th, the court will process U.S. passports, marriage licenses, and even hold marriage ceremonies. They will hold extended hours on those dates, opening at 7 a.m. and closing up at 7 p.m. You will still need to make an appointment on their website.
We are warming up. It's about 7 degrees warmer than it was at this time yesterday, but we're also tracking some showers. We'll talk about the temperatures and when it's going to rain over the weekend next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. The skies are sunny and blue skies overhead at the moment are going to give way to a clear sky overnight. And under clear conditions, that's when we see our maximum radiational cooling, meaning it's going to get cold enough for some areas of fog to develop later tonight. 73 our current temperature over campus as winds a little too brisk to allow that fog to form at the moment, but winds should be lighter later into the night. Elsewhere, 73 Palatka into the 60s. In Bronson, quiet high pressure area over the Gulf Coast the next couple days, but showers are beginning to pop up across North Texas and the southern parts of Oklahoma. This our next system going to be headed our way. It's going to bring us a drop in temperatures, a very small drop in temperatures, but more importantly, a little bit of light rain. But again, winds a little too brisk now, but they'll be weakening to under 5 miles an hour later into the night. That's going to allow fog to develop. It could be locally dense. Visibilities could be under a mile in several locations. For the first couple of hours of our Thursdays, temperatures warm up, though. We'll get rid of that fog. Severe risk for showers and thunderstorms to produce wind gusts over 60 miles an hour in parts of Louisiana. This our next system, but it's weakening, so it'll produce some severe storms tomorrow, less severe storms on Friday, and those storms will continue to weaken as that front pushes closer to our area. Friday night, here's how things should pan out. Through the night tonight, we've got rain, and some of it heavy, moving into parts of Arkansas, into Mississippi. Here's where we are. Friday morning showers just beginning to move into western parts of Florida. We can step away here. You can see that front still yet to move through into the afternoon. So Friday going to be warm and dry, but those showers will get going after midnight and wrap up very quickly. Saturday front kind of stalls out, and we'll keep at least some clouds and moisture around, but I think our rain chances will be pretty low for the second half of the weekend. We are going to see rain, but it's probably not going to be very much. In fact, I think most locations are probably going to get less than 1/10 of an inch. So we're talking just a few raindrops really in the overnight hours, and hardly any change in temperatures. We're still easily going to warm up into the upper 70s Saturday and Sunday. A little more clouds though overhead on Sunday. I think we're going to see the showers out of our area though in the early morning hours Saturday. So we're dry through the weekend. The heat starts to crank back up early next week. We're into the upper 70s and low 80s, potentially the mid 80s before our next front arrives by next weekend.
Coming up in sports, Newbury basketball extends their undefeated winning streak against Gainesville High School. And the month-long Winter Academy soccer camp is finally coming to a close tonight. Hannah Mack is live from Disney Stadium where the camp has been held. We'll hear from her when we're back from the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Jada Ross. The Gators hosted their third Gators Soccer Winter Academy Camp throughout the month of January. WUFT's Hannah Mack is live on the final day of camp with Florida assistant coach Adam Godwin.
The Winter Academy Soccer Camp is for kids ages 8 through 13. The Gators soccer coaches, staff, and players are all here to help the campers throughout the month of January, including assistant coach Adam Godwin. Adam, how are you today?
I'm tremendous. Thanks for having us out today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for being here. Now, this is the third camp that you guys have put on in the entirety of it going on. And what exactly is such a reward to be out here with all of the campers?
Well, when Samantha Bohan, our head coach, took over the program about 2.5 years ago, one of the really big things she wanted was to involve the community in Gator soccer, and so that's really where this was born. Can we share these amazing facilities with youngsters in the local area and our soccer community? And yeah, it's tremendous for us to be able to get to share with them our mantra of student, person, player, instill some of those characteristics in them while also sharing our love for soccer and hopefully some of our expertise as well, and help them get a little bit better but ultimately just grow their love for the game.
Yeah, of course. I have to ask for the players that are out here, how rewarding is it for them to be able to give back and just coach, and it's such an off-season goal for them to do something like this?
You know, they love that because in the heat of the SEC battle, you know, you sometimes have to remember as a player the little kid you did it for, the little kid that started the journey, you know. And I think when our players get to come out, they get to see themselves in these young players and get this awesome opportunity just to give back to the game a little bit that's given them so much.
For sure. The camp will finish up about 7:15 tonight in a beautiful day that is Gainesville. Hannah Mack, WUFT Sports. Back to you guys.
In high school basketball last night, Newbury's boys varsity team had the chance to extend their winning streak to 20 games. Gainesville High providing the opposition, and this one pretty one-sided. The Panthers used their home court advantage, grabbing an early lead and never letting go. Newbury senior Jacob Green scored 16 out of his 18 total points in the first half. In the second half, Newbury pulled away in the fourth quarter, going on a 10-0 run. When the final buzzer went, Newbury won 74-42 and grabbed their 20th straight win. In UF Golf news, men's golfers Ian Gilligan and Jack Turner were selected to the Ben Hogan Award watch list Wednesday. Both golfers are currently on the course taking part in the Southwestern Invitational out in California. At last report, the Gators are in fourth place, shooting 1 under. Vanderbilt has a 3-stroke lead on Florida, and they're really the only catchable team for the Gators right now. Ian Gilligan leads the way for the Gators. He's in 5th place at 3 under par. Behind him is Jack Turner in 9th place, shooting 2 under. The other 4 competing Gators are ranked outside the top 15. This season has been a long one for the Florida Gator women's basketball team. Tomorrow night, they are back on the hardwood as Vanderbilt comes to town. The women are coming off a 74-51 loss against Auburn on Sunday. Now they welcome a Vandy team sitting at 17-4 and ranked 23rd in the latest AP poll. The Gators, on the other hand, have struggled and come into this game on a 3-game losing streak. But a win tomorrow night would give them a first-ranked win since 2022. Tip-off will be at 7 p.m. in the O-Dome. Gator fans on social media are amped up about the arrival of 5-star wide receiver recruit Dallas Wilson. There was speculation about when the Oregon Flip would come to campus, but good news, he's completed his coursework and now he's eligible to enroll at UF.
Well, if you ask me, Jada, the number one thing I'm excited to see is that energy from social media just transferred into this crescendo of energy in the stadium.
Yeah, I know. Great flip for Florida. And the weather has flipped from the temperatures we were seeing last week.
Yeah, definitely. It's still on track to be the coldest January ever, but hard to believe the last couple days. We're well above average into the upper 70s by Friday, but the weekend will bring a weak cold front, maybe a couple sprinkles very early Saturday morning, but the daytime hours Saturday look to be dry. Temperatures crank up next week into the low to mid 80s. Another front potentially heads our way at the end of next week, but it looks like 7 dry, warm days.
Thank you all for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
Your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.